activity has been taking place here in Dane County and Milwaukee County. Why is this happening? Because both District Attorney Ozan and Chisholm have shared publicly that they will not enforce this law. Now is not the time to be selective in which laws we enforce and which laws we don't enforce in Wisconsin. Violence begins in the womb and can end today. Once again, in Wisconsin, if District Attorneys Ozan and Chisholm do their job and ensure prosecution of abortionists in their counties is enforced, we will save lives. With that, I would like to welcome Dan Miller to the podium.
Thank you, Heather. Once again, my name is Dan Miller. I'm the State Director of Pro-Life Wisconsin. On Monday, September 18th, 2023, Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin resumed their provision of abortion services to their facilities in Madison and Milwaukee, even though the state law banning abortion is currently in effect. The district attorneys in Milwaukee and Dane counties, John Chisholm and Ishmael Ozan, respectively, are not enforcing Wisconsin State Statute 94004, which bans abortion with an exception for the life of the mother. Abortion is not legal in Wisconsin, but Planned Parenthood has decided to break the law, and now they are getting away with it. How can this be? Where is the rule of law? Planned Parenthood's friends in power, District Attorneys Chisholm and Ozan, are refusing to enforce Wisconsin's statutory abortion ban, and as a result, babies are being dismembered in their mother's wombs. The DAs have the power to stop it, but neither of them has lifted a finger for the babies. They have no respect for the law and are completely apathetic to, if not supportive of, the killing of preborn children in their respective counties. These two prosecutors took an oath of office to uphold the law without prejudice, and we encourage the people of Milwaukee and Dane counties and all Wisconsinites to contact them and demand that they do so. Although Wisconsin's abortion ban has been challenged in state court by Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul, the Dane County Circuit Court has not issued a final ruling that state statute 94004 is unenforceable and has not placed an injunction on it. Furthermore, this law has not been repealed or modified by the state legislature, therefore the law remains intact. 94004 is the law of the land. I invite Jelaine Appling with the Wisconsin Family Action to prepare her statements.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan. I want to say that I, first of all, echo the remarks of my colleagues, Heather Weininger, Dan Miller. Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin, last Monday, preceded by an announcement on the Thursday before, announced that they were going to illegally resume abortions in our state. And they have so far done so with impunity. The respective DAs in Milwaukee and Madison have said that they, Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin, as well as the DAs, are apparently above the law. That the rule of law has no meaning for them. They get to pick and choose, according to their political and personal ideological positions, what laws that they will enforce. This has huge ramifications, obviously, for the unborn children in our state. Because when we allow abortion, we are systematically and legally, apparently, and now illegally killing our future. But it also has dire implications for the rule of law. If district attorneys can pick and choose what laws they will enforce, where does that end? What will be the next area where a DA says, oh, I don't like that law. I don't believe in that law. That law doesn't conform to my personal ideological position. Then what? Maybe it will be a law that will be important to other groups of people. I think this is an incredibly important moment in Wisconsin's history. Last Monday was referred to by one of my colleagues as Black Monday, and it was indeed Black Monday, the resumption of the killing of the unborn, a flaunting of the rule of law. We are indeed today, collectively as pro-life leaders in our state, calling on the DAs in Milwaukee County and in Dane County to do their jobs. They swore an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Wisconsin Constitution, and that entails whether enforcing laws that they agree with or don't agree with. So today we say collectively, enforce the law if there are indeed, and we believe there are indeed, abortions taking place at the Milwaukee and Madison facilities of Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin right now, then charges should be brought against those who are doing those abortions. We find it very interesting that Sheboygan, where there is another Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin abortion facility, was not included in the resumption of these abortions. Interestingly, the DA there said from the very beginning, when the Dobbs decision was handed down a year ago, June, that he would enforce the law. He wasn't going to pick and choose. He wasn't going to put himself above the law. And so he has been enforcing the law, and Planned Parenthood has taken a pass on resuming abortions there. We're pleased there are no abortions there, certainly. But we find it very interesting that about the difference that the DA makes. So today, we stand here. We are publicly declaring that it is time for the DAs in Milwaukee and Dane County to do the right thing immediately and enforce the law that preceded Roe in our state banning most abortions. Thank you.
Thank you. And at this time, we'd open it up for questions of any of the members here.
Hi, Sarah Lear with Wisconsin Public Radio. Is Right to Life of Wisconsin or any of the other groups here today planning to take any steps to intervene legally in Call's lawsuit?
So we certainly actually as a group have looked at all options available to us and will continue to do so.
Who exactly do you want charged? Planned Parenthood officials, the women getting abortions, the doctors, everybody that's involved in any kind of an abortion? Who do you want to see go to prison?
Go ahead, Matt, answer.
Well, those who are performing the abortions, as you know, State Statute 94004 excludes any culpability for the mother. So we would be looking at those who are performing the abortions at Planned Parenthood and any of those who are, aiding and abetting them, whatever medical staff or is there. But look, Planned Parenthood is perpetrating this crime, this violation of the law, and they are to be held accountable. Not the mother seeking the abortion, but those providing the abortion at Planned Parenthood. Anybody else?
Wondering what your thoughts are on Judge Slipper's interpretation of the 1849 law, and what do you think of the legal reasoning behind that? She said in a ruling that she views it as applying to feticide.
Okay, so Judge Slipper, in her ruling to dismiss District Attorney Joel Ormanski's motion to dismiss, she stated that 9404 does not apply to consensual medical abortions. That is solely a feticide statute, meaning the intentional killing, or I think she couched it as battery or some type of assault on the mother that would end up killing the unborn child, obviously without maternal consent. And that it did not apply to consensual medical abortion. I find that a stretch, an overreach. There is a Section 2 in 94004 which could be applicable to feticide. And if you looked at the state of Wisconsin versus Glendale Black, it's, I believe, a 1994 Wisconsin State Supreme Court case in which this defendant, Glendale Black, punched his wife in the abdomen 5 days before she was due, killing the baby. The prosecutors wanted to use that section of 94004 to get Glendale Black on feticide. But the other sections of the bill, clearly, if you look at the plain wording and meaning in that statute, clearly apply to consensual medical abortion. After all, the statute's entitled abortion. They use the word therapeutic abortion. There's an exception for the life of the mother, where two physicians have to agree that it's necessary. the procedure. They talk about performing it in a hospital and say that, again, that life begins at conception. So to say that the whole of Statute 94004 is only applicable to feticide is clearly wrong, and again, defies the plain wording and meaning of the statute.
I'd like to add to that. I think there was some really creative legal work there that the judge did. And as Matt just mentioned, remember, this was on a ruling on a motion to dismiss the case. Number one, the judge did not dismiss the case. And number two, we're still standing here on September 26th, and there has been no injunction issued against the enforcement of the statute and no definitive ruling from this judge. So I think she stretched on that, and I think that we are still dealing with the outcome of it, because Planned Parenthood is kind of relying on this creative legal reasoning that she gave us, and has decided to take the law into their own hands, because there has been nothing definitive handed down from a court. And as Dan mentioned, state legislature hasn't acted on it either. So I think this is still in the judge's hands. And I can't speak for everyone, but I will tell you that personally, I have been shocked at how this case has proceeded through Dane County from the very beginning.
If Planned Parenthood were to resume abortions in Sheboygan County, obviously that's not a preferred outcome for any of you, but do you believe that that could create a situation, since DA Mancy has said that he would prosecute, that might, I guess, force some kind of resolution on this issue?
I think it certainly would be a first step on that resolution, and we certainly could see different outcomes in the two different counties if it is prosecuted, and certainly we know where that could end up ultimately, probably not in the favor of the pro-life movement and what we believe in, but it certainly would allow us to actually enforce the law that we have in the state.
Have you had conversations with the Sheboygan DA at all? Or any of the DAs in this matter? You're calling on them today, I was just wondering if you had conversations.
No, we have not had conversations with the district attorneys of Milwaukee and Dane County, but to the point of Sheboygan County, that is, again, it reinforces our point. Why is Planned Parenthood performing these abortions now while the state ban is in effect? Because they know they can get away with it because of the two DAs in Milwaukee and Dane County. They can't get away with it in Sheboygan County. They have a chemical abortion facility, or they provide the mifepristone medical abortions there. If they believed that this law was fully or was not enforceable and not in effect, why wouldn't they be proceeding to do those abortions in Sheboygan County? Because they know that District Attorney Joel Ormansky would prosecute, and that would call into question. They don't want to call into question the legality of what they're doing. And if they did that in Sheboygan County, it certainly would call it into question, because the DA would move to act to obstruct them from what they're doing. So that's where we're at. Thank you.
Isn't prosecutorial discretion just built into the entire package here? I mean, isn't this something that everybody lives with? A DA here is going to not prosecute something that a DA in Green Bay might. I mean, isn't that just isn't that a fact of life?
Here the law is so clear. We know that 94004 is in effect. Everyone has been certainly acting as if it's been in effect the last year. It is in effect. And it's very clear what it says. It prohibits abortion, the intentional killing of a preborn living human being. The DAs know that, and the DAs know that this is what is now occurring in their jurisdictions. At Planned Parenthood, on Oren Road, at Planned Parenthood on Water Street. They know this is occurring. Dan Miller and others have been out on the sidewalks. They see the women coming out, crippled and broken. So it's very clear that a violation of the law is being perpetrated in their jurisdictions. It's not as if this is a gray area. Okay? And ultimately, we don't know what the state court systems are going to rule, what the high court may rule. But right now, it's very clear that abortion is against the law in Wisconsin. And it's very clear that abortion is, that Planned Parenthood is performing them. And therefore, we expect our top law enforcement officials in these two major counties our largest cities, Madison and Milwaukee, to intervene, enforce the law. And if that changes, then if the law changes, it changes. But right now, it's there. So again, no gray area. They need to do their jobs.
If I may just add to that, this is a law where lives are at stake. So if a DA in that county is choosing to ignore a law where lives are at stake, then that's even a greater concern for us as an organization and perhaps others here as well.
So both of these DAs in in Dane County and Milwaukee County came out, I believe one of them even before the U.S. Supreme Court handed down the decision on June 24th of 2022, handed down the Dobbs decision and declared that they were going to not enforce the law. Attorney General Call did the same thing. Prosecutorial discretion usually is fairly quiet. They make internal decisions. They don't go out and say, you know, there's this law out there that we don't really agree with, so we're just not going to bring any charges. We're not going to prosecute anybody based on this. And it's not, and as Heather said, this is a law that deals with life and death. But they don't usually announce that. They just quietly say, all right, in my jurisdiction, under my leadership, we're not gonna go after people that are doing this. It's
Right,
not usually murder.
Right. Or that they don't have enough evidence. Maybe they're not going to exercise their prosecutorial powers because they don't have evidence or, but here the evidence is very clear. In fact, again, Planned Parenthood has announced that they are doing these abortions. You can see the women coming in. It's an uptick, as Dan Miller has witnessed. Dan, you can maybe tell them about what you're seeing on the sidewalks?
Ever since the Dobbs decision was handed down, we had sidewalk counselors on the ground at both the Dane County and the Milwaukee County Planned Parenthood facilities. Full-time, every hour they're open, and the numbers are way up. They've doubled, more than doubled in both places. The number of women going in at Planned Parenthood in Milwaukee has hovered around 10 a day during post-Dobbs. But immediately after this decision to break the law by Planned Parenthood, somewhere in excess of 20 to 25 per day.
Are there any other questions?
Have you spoken to any officials to try to get them to get these DAs to enforce this law as you see it should be enforced?
So for us, we understand that they're looking to us to make some movements going forward, and we'll have further discussions what we can do here at the state level.
Who's they? You said they're looking to us.
Officials in the state of Wisconsin.
Can you name any of them?
We won't share names today. Any other questions? Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you all. Good to go? We all just put it on our plates like potted palms.